There is no way this happens. Over the course of the last 72 hours, reports have came out that have linked two Boston Celtics possibly being traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Grizzlies Digest. I'm Tristan Harlan. Happy Monday. I had a teacher once tell me to always say, thank God it's Monday. So thank God it's Mondays, ladies and gentlemen. New week full of opportunities and possibilities and more things to report here on Grizzlies Digest, your number one source for Grizzlies news, reports, trades, rumors, and all that fun stuff. Before we begin, I want to remind everybody, as my thing went away, 80.7% of you guys are not subscribed. This is a little bit down from last time I was here talking about the last Summer League game of the season. To my 80.7% of you guys, why aren't you subscribed? It's free $99. It's everybody's favorite price. So you're missing out if you're not clicking that subscribe button. I mean, a lot of you guys are engaging in the comments section. I apologize if my title of the video yesterday scared some of you guys thinking that John Morant was gone or Jaron was gone or somebody was hurt. I do apologize. To the 19.4% of my family that are clicking that subscribe button, thank you so much. Your support means the world. And I hope you guys are enjoying all the content here on Grizzlies Digest between myself and Jared and all the others that appear on this channel. So go ahead and diving into this. Of course, playoff Boston reported that the Celtics have been talking to the Grizzlies in the recent days regarding a potential trade per Jake Fisher, potentially linked to Simons and I apologize if I butcher the pronunciation of this last name, but Niang. I believe it's Niang. I was trying to familiarize myself with the pronunciation, but I apologize if I butchered that. But of course, Jake Fisher being a known reporter for the NBA and being a very, very reliable source on these matters of the trades. And another report came out from BillStreetBears.com that a rumor from an unspecified source linked to the Grizzlies and Boston Celtics in a deal potentially involving Simmons, whatever, and Georges Niang to Memphis. Clutch Sports' Brett Siegel has since added context stating the two teams did not engage in trade talks at the Summer League. And he also added that Boston's pursuit of Damian Lillard likely led to the Celtics looking to offload Simmons. Now, what this means is not that a trade's coming. What this means is merely that that Boston was looking to dump players, and one of the people that are teams that the Celtics thought possibly could be interested with the Grizzlies. Now, for those that do not know, the Grizzlies are possibly at the point where they're not going to make any more moves. They're at their 15 roster spots that they're happy with. Of course, getting Santi Aldama in the contract extension and right in the middle of the Summer League, as well as Jaren Jackson Jr. signing Ty Jerome and Cam Spencer. It was a very, very huge offseason for the Grizzlies. I would honestly grade it about a B+ with moves. Possible moves, waiting to see how they turn out, like the Desmond Bain to Orlando trade, waiting to see how Kentavious Caldwell-Pope plays for the Grizzlies, and then Cole Anthony being bought out, and he ended up signing with the Milwaukee Bucks. But although that was reported on, another thing came out that from Fan Inspiration and Playoff NBA tweeted this. It inspired a sign and trade deal that lands the Warriors to stretch big and young wing. Now it involves the Grizzlies, and the trade would look like this: the Grizzlies would receive Jonathan Kuminga, the 2028 first round pick, a 2032 first round pick, and the Warriors would receive Santi Aldama and Gigi Jackson. Now this comes from Basketball Forever's report that states that Kuminga does not want to return to the Warriors and is seeking a deal worth $30 million per year. He's reportedly turned down a 5-year, $150 million deal from the Golden State Warriors last season. However, his market has dried up and restricted free agency this year. Of course, we're past that point. But this has, started to unravel like an onion and come out. And the 4-year pro has averaged 15.3 points per game, 4.6 rebounds on 45.4% field goal shooting from the field in 47 games last season. Now, I want to go ahead and point out the fact that when it comes to extensions and trades and stuff like that, And a lot of you guys were pointing this out previously to me, and I've since then done my research to be a better on-screen host for you guys. But if a player signs a contract extension for a longer period, higher amount, or higher annual increases than would be permitted for extension and trade, then that team is prohibited from trading the player for a period of 6 months following the date of the extension. Now, we go back to the inspired sign and trade deal that would end up giving the Grizzlies Jonathan Kuminga. You see Santi Aldama there. Santi Aldama just signed a 3-year extension. I believe it was anywhere from $20 million to $45 million. I can't remember off the top of my head. I do apologize for that, but this would almost render this trade obsolete. Santi Aldama would not be eligible to be included in this trade due to the fact that he was just re-signed, so we'd have to wait 6 months following the date of the extension to move Santi Aldama. So this would possibly be a move to be made at the deadline. Now, going back to this report about Simmons and Niang is the fact that, I mean, let's be honest here. Who did the Grizzlies trade? I mean, I just talked about Santi Aldama being ineligible to be traded right now for 60 days. So, who do you move? If this move is to be made, Zach Kleiman, who do you move in order to pick up either one of these players? Now, if you ask me, giving you a little bit of reaction here and my thoughts on the trade, I don't think Simmons would be a fit for the Grizzlies. Now, you talk about what do you mean? You know, he's proven himself with the Blazers. He's uprising as a young guard in the league. Why don't you want him on the Grizzlies roster? Well, I mean, look at all the guards we already have on the roster. I mean, Ja Morant, Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr., Jalen Wells is possibly going to be playing some of the guard minutes if need be. Cedric Howard just got drafted, so this move would almost render the Ty Jerome signing as a dead fish in the water. I mean, you sign Simmons, and then what do you do with Ty Jerome? Or you sign Simmons to possibly move him again, but then does that hurt Ty Jerome's morale and chemistry with the team because you bring on another guard? Now, if you bring Niang on and you possibly have that in the forward position, I mean, possibly it works. But again, you go back and who do you trade? I mean, Zion Pullen just got his walking papers. Javon Small, I don't see the Grizzlies moving him. I mean, he's going to be a staple of the Grizzlies' future. Jaren Jackson Jr., there's no way in God's green earth that they're going to move him for any one of these players. And, again, you just don't have a logistical trade unless you look to move possibly John Konchar. But the problem is, if you move John Konchar, can you match the salaries up? And if you do that, then who else are you going to throw in there? Because, I mean, we all know how the NBA is when it comes to trades and money and all that. And if they don't match up, I don't want to see the Grizzlies make this move and be negative $10 million in cap come the offseason because of bringing on Niang's contract. Therefore, you can't offer John Morant a contract extension, a supermax. Or you can't bring on somebody at the deadline because you're still having to pay for Zaire Williams' trade exception from forever ago. And then you're on the back end trying to pay all this money for Niang and all these other players. So, while yes, it's interesting. It would be interesting if this was the start of free agency and the start of the offseason. It almost kind of dies out right here with this statement from BillStreetBears.com. He also added that Boston's pursuit of Damian Lillard likely led to the Celtics looking to offload Simmons. Or Simmons, whatever. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are paying attention to other teams in the NBA, but if you're not, Damian Lillard just re-signed with the Portland Trailblazers. He got bought out by the Milwaukee Bucks, or he got cut, got released, whatever term you want to use. He got his walking papers, put it to you that way. And what did he do? He turned right around and went back to Portland. Now, I'm not a Portland guy. I'm not a Trailblazers fan. As a matter of fact, the Portland Trailblazers are on one of the on my list of teams that I really don't care for. But we all know how much of an icon Damian Lillard is in Portland, and that trade that Portland just did with Milwaukee, there's a lot of unraveling there that I'm not going to get into because this is not the place to do it. So with Damian Lillard going to Portland, that kind of ends the talks of him. That ends the talks of him going to Boston. Now, you possibly could say, well, what about another guard and that's looking to move? What about possibly Chris Paul? Well, Chris Paul just re-signed. I say re-signed. He goes back to the Los Angeles Clippers, possibly to end out his historic career there. Hopefully, I hate to say this, but hopefully he doesn't retire with a ring, because that means the Grizzlies would lose the Western Conference. And again, the Clippers are another team on my list that I just do not care for. Goes to me being a Grizzlies fan since 2006, 2007. Again, I started watching the Grizzlies when they drafted Mike Conley, so 2007, because Mike Conley is one of my favorite NBA players. But nonetheless, yes, the reports were entertaining, but there's no backbone, there's no logistics behind it. Now, you go back a month and a half ago, we're possibly talking about this. We're possibly being serious about this. We're possibly saying, okay, Santi's going to be included in a sign and trade, or Cam Spencer, or Ty Jerome's not even in the picture at that point, if that's what the Grizzlies want to do. But now, since you signed Ty Jerome, you re-signed Cam Spencer, you give Santi a contract extension, and you give Jaren that big contract that they just gave him, it kind of blows this report up in the water. But again, before I go away, I want to remind everybody that 80.7% of you guys are not clicking that subscribe button. So if you like what you see, like what you hear, or like discussing the Memphis Grizzlies in the comments, like talking about potential moves or why you don't like Zach Kleiman, or I saw one comment that said Zach Kleiman should be on his last leg, and I mean, I'm gonna agree with you on that. I want to see how this Ty Jerome move helps the Grizzlies, and I want to see how this new coach does for the first half of the season before I 100% get behind that. But again, 80.7% of you guys are not subscribed, so like I said, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button, sharing with your friends, your families, your neighbors, your mailmen, your mailwomen, your grocery store workers, your cats, your dogs, your lizards, anybody that likes the Memphis Grizzlies or just likes watching 22-year-old basketball fan talk about his favorite team. Make sure you're sharing it with them. Again, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button, clicking that bell. We're on the quest to 2,000 subscribers. We're making great progress. I mean, the number one thing I want to see before the regular season starts is the non-subscribe bar go all the way down, the subscribe bar go all the way up. So, again, make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing. And to my 19.4% of you guys that are subscribed, I want to give you a big hug and say thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the support. But, guys, once again, I want to say thank God it's Monday. Hope you guys have a great work week. Hope you guys have a great week full of opportunities and happiness and great food, because, I mean, who doesn't love great food? If you're a wrestling fan, and I hope you enjoy Monday Night Raw tonight, Friday Night SmackDown. If you're a Big Brother fan, I hope you enjoy the 90-minute episode on Wednesday and the live eviction on Thursday. And we're on the countdown to the preseason, and training camp's right around the corner. So be sure you're, again, clicking that subscribe button, clicking that bell to know all things about the Memphis Grizzlies. But I'm going to get off here, quit yapping. So, again, guys, have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.